everyone, I'm Chirag and welcome to part 19 of the tutorial series on AWS HTTP API. So guys, in this video, I will take you through how to integrate Event Bridge with HTTP API. But before we get started, if you want to learn how to perform OCR, detect and extract textual information from PDF and images, then draw bounding box around key value pairs and integrate Amazon Text Track with services like Lambda and API Gateway, then you can check out my full hands-on 3-hour video on Amazon Text Track, and the link is in the video description. So now moving along, so here let's consider a scenario where we want to spin up an EC2 instance with a general configuration for development to basically cater different purposes. And for that, we have the EC2 image builder pipeline in place. Now here, what we want to do is we want to provide an interface to someone in the team who can trigger the EC2 image builder pipeline via API endpoint whenever required. So to achieve that, here we can use event bridge rule to basically trigger the EC2 image builder pipeline, and then this event bridge rule will get triggered via API call, that is the HTTP API call. Okay, so here we will require three things. One is image builder pipeline, then event bridge rule, and then the HTTP API routes. So here in this case, I have already created the EC2 image builder pipeline, as you can see on my screen. Now, since we have EC2 image builder pipeline in place, we will create the event bridge rules, which would be followed by the creation of the route within HTTP API, and then it would be followed by the integration of the event bridge with HTTP API, and then finally we are going to test it out. Okay, so now let's get started. So let's navigate to the AWS Management Console and search for event bridge. Now once we are within Amazon Event Bridge, click on Rules under Events from the left panel and then click on Create Rule. Now here we need to provide the rule name. I would say EC2 pipeline. Okay, you can add optional description if you want, and then within Event Bus we are going to select default, and within rule type we will say rule with an event pattern. Okay, and then click on Next. Now within event source, we are going to select other, and then we are going to leave sample event as it is. And then within event pattern, we are going to configure this. So here we are going to say a JSON. Okay. And then here we will say source. Now source basically defines that from where this event will trigger. Okay. So here we will say com.srcecde.app. So this can be anything, and you can also add multiple sources over here separated by comma, but as of now we will move on with the one source. Then we are going to add detail type. Again, here detail type could be any string, so I will simply say sample data. Okay, and then finally we will say detail. And within detail, we have to pass the dictionary. So I will simply say name and some value. So here I will say trigger pipeline. Okay. So this is how you can configure the event, but you can also use this, automated event generation like prefix matching, anything but matching. So you can play around with this option. Okay. Now once you define the event pattern, click on next. Now here you can define basically target, that if this rule gets triggered, which target you want to call or invoke. Okay, so in this case we are going to select AWS service, and then within a target we will select EC2 image builder because we want to trigger the EC2 image builder pipeline. Okay, and as soon as you select that, you will get the option to select image pipeline. So as soon as you click on this drop down, all the image pipeline will get listed. So I'm going to select dev image builder pipeline, and then you need to provide permission to the event bridge to call image builder pipeline. So for that you need to create a new role. So you can select create a new role for this specific resource, or you can use an existing role if you have one. Okay, so here we have successfully configured the target, but with event bridge we can trigger up to 5 targets at a time. So you can click on add another target if you want to invoke or call any other service. So for example, if you want to trigger an EC2 image builder pipeline as well as the Lambda function, then you can do that by adding multiple targets as I just mentioned. Okay, now here we have successfully configured the target. So we are going to click on next. Add a tags if you want, say next. And then we are going to say create rule. Now here we have successfully created the rule. Now we will go back to the AWS management console and search for API gateway. And here I am going to open the existing API gateway. So let me open HTTP API over here. And then I'm going to click on routes and I will say create a new route. Here I would say post method. Okay. And then I will provide the route name. So I would say EC2 image, for example, or I would say image pipeline, something like this. Okay. And then I will say create. Now, as you can see here, we have successfully created the image pipeline route with the post method. And then as a next step, we have to integrate the backend. So here we are going to click on attach integration. And here we are going to say create and attach an integration. Now from the drop down within integration type, we are going to select Amazon Event Bridge. And then here we have one option as a part of the integration action, that is put events. And here we have to configure few details. So here it's asking for a detail that from where or from which variable we will get the information for the detail. So we will simply say it would be dollar request dot body dot detail. Okay, and then here we have to mention the detail type. So it should be same as what we have mentioned over here as a part of the detail type. So let me open this EC2 pipeline. And here as you can see, we have defined detail type as sample data. So we are going to copy and paste it over here. And then now it's asking for the source. So here we have to define the same source. Okay, and then it's asking for the invocation role. So we have to copy and paste the ARN of the IAM role. So let's create one. And within that role, we have to provide access to the Amazon Event Bridge. Okay, so navigate to IAM Management Console and click on roles from the left panel under access management. Click on create role from the top right corner. And here within trusted entity type, we are going to select AWS service. And then within use case, we are going to search for API gateway and we are going to select API gateway. Okay, and then click on next. And here it says it has permission to create log groups and log stream. Okay, by default. So we are going to say next. And here we will provide a role name. So I would say API gateway event bridge, something like this, and then I will say create role. Now here we have successfully created the IAM role. So let's search for it and open that. So I would say API gateway event bridge, and here we are going to say add permission and click on attach policies. And here we will search for event bridge. Okay, or let me say event bridge. Okay, here it is. So for now I'm going to provide a full access, but you can always create the custom policy and then attach that policy to this IAM role to narrow down the permissions. Okay, and then click on attach policies. So here we have successfully configured the IAM role, and then we are going to copy this ARN and go back to the API gateway and paste it over here. Okay, and then if you want to perform some advanced settings, then you can configure it over here, but as of now we are going to leave it as it is. And then finally you need to click on create. Now here we have successfully created the route, and then we have created the post method followed by the successful integration of the event bridge with that post method. Okay, now we will say deploy. So I'm going to select the deployment stage. I will say dev and I will say deploy to stage. And now I guess we are all set to test this out. But before we do that, let me open EC2 management console. Now here within EC2 management console, if I click on instances, and if you see, then here I don't have any instance up and running. But here as soon as we invoke the API endpoint, we should be able to see the instance that would be coming up. Okay, so let's go back to API gateway, click on stages. I will select the dev stage and I'm going to copy this invocation URL. And then I'm going to open Postman and paste that invocation URL over here, which would be followed by the route name that we have created. So in my case, it's image pipeline. Okay. And then the method would be post. Within body, we are going to pass JSON. So I would select raw, and from here I will say JSON. And here we have to pass the detail. Okay. So I will say detail followed by the name parameter that we have defined. Okay. Here I would say name colon followed by trigger pipeline. So this is something that we have to pass. It's because if we look at the event bridge rule, then over here we are expecting a detailed name as a trigger pipeline. So if we don't pass this trigger pipeline, then it's not going to invoke this EC2 image builder pipeline. Okay. So that's the reason we have mentioned over here, that is name as trigger pipeline. Okay, and then I will say send. Now here, as you can see, it returns status code 200 and it returned the event ID. And now we will go back to the AWS management console and we will navigate to EC2 management console. And over here, we should be able to see the instance. So now as you can see, the instance is coming up. It says build instance for Ubuntu recipe and the instance type is whatever C3.4x large, and now it is in running state. Okay, and if I go back to EC2 image builder pipeline and click on images, then it should be able to show me the Ubuntu recipe image, that is 1.0.0. And then if I look at the status, then it says it's in building mode. So guys, this is how you can basically integrate the event bridge rules with the HTTP API gateway. But apart from that, let me also show you one more thing. Just to test this out, I'm going to edit this rule. Okay, and then I'm going to click on next and I will say next again. And here I am going to add another target. I would say I want to invoke the lambda function. Okay, and I'm going to select the lambda function which is named as delete hyphen lambda. Okay, so I'm going to select this and I'm going to say next, and I will say update rule. Okay, so I want to just show you that what will happen if I don't pass this trigger pipeline and if I end up passing any other value. Okay, so let me go back to the Chrome and let me open the Lambda management console. So the reason that I have added lambda as another target, it's because I can show you that we can add multiple targets, and within lambda function it's easy to track and look at the logs. Okay, so I'm going to open this delete hyphen lambda and I'm going to click on monitor. Now here I would say view logs in CloudWatch. Okay, so here we have two logs, and now if I go ahead and modify this trigger pipeline with trigger pipeline 1 and if I say send, so here it says it's successful, but if I look over here, then I don't see any updated logs or the new logs. Okay, it's because this value is mismatched with what event bridge is expecting. Okay, now if I go ahead and say trigger pipeline, okay, and if I say send and if I reload this, then as you can see here we have the latest logs. It means the lambda function is being triggered, okay, via event bridge. Okay, so this is how it basically works. And if I navigate to API gateway and click on integrations and look for the AWS event bridge, and if I say manage integration and say edit, then it should also match the detail type that we have mentioned within this rule. Okay, that is sample data. If I modify this value for the detail type, then it might not trigger the rule. Okay, and same goes for source. If I modify this source, let's say if I do com.srcecde app1 and if I say save over here and then I will say deploy, I will select the manual stage, say deploy to stage, and let's go back to CloudWatch logs. And now let me invoke this API endpoint. Let's say send. Okay, it says status code 200, but here we will not be able to see the latest logs. Okay, so if I open this latest one, so as you can see here we will not be able to find the new invocation log in here. Okay, So make sure that the source, detail type and detail should match, okay, in order to trigger or invoke this rule successfully. So guys, that's all I wanted to cover as a part of this video. And till that time, if you want me to do a tutorial on any use case or service, then please leave them below and I will try my best to come up with a tutorial as soon as possible. And if you have any queries or comments, then again please leave them below and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.